This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. In news from the Magistrates Court, 51-year-old Hiram Cox of number 11 East Lake Drive stood before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt today to answer a charge of extortion by a public officer. The particulars are that on August 25th, while executing his duty as a public officer as an employee of the Department of Inland Revenue, did extort funds from Preston Roll in the amount of $10,000. Cox pleaded not guilty and elected for the matter to be heard in the magistrate's court. He was represented by Alex Morley, who told the court that he had applied for emergency bail at the Supreme Court. Cox returns to court for a status hearing on February 3rd, 2021. In crime news, quantities of suspected marijuana were removed from the streets of New Providence and several individuals were taken into custody in relation to these incidents. Police report indicates that shortly before 11 a.m. Thursday, officers of the mobile unit, while on patrol on Commonwealth Boulevard, conducted a search of two males who aroused their suspicion and found a quantity of suspected marijuana. Both suspects were arrested. In another incident, sometime around 3 p.m., officers, while on routine patrol, observed a male and female in a silver Honda Civic. Officers stopped the vehicle and conducted a search, finding a quantity of suspected marijuana and marijuana cookies. They were both taken into custody. Then, shortly after 6 p.m., two males were taken into custody after officers, armed with a search warrant, conducted a search of a residence on Dunmore Street. Officers deployed the police search dogs, and moments later, the dogs alerted its handler to a derelict vehicle where a quantity of suspected marijuana was found. All suspects are expected to be formally charged before the magistrate's court. Once again, Police Commissioner Paul Roll and members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force boots were to the ground in the Bain and Grantstown community, donating school supplies, PPEs, and other items to residents at the Sarah Ingram Park.
The children who are preparing for school, we give them some school supplies. It's a small token, and we want to get the message, of course, to persons. So we give out some face masks. I got a donation of 10,000 face masks, and we give out. Everybody got face masks here this morning, and we want to continue to give those face masks and encourage persons to wear your mask as much as possible, practice social distancing, and let us protect one another as we struggle in this country to get a grip on this coronavirus, which is really making and causing a toll on our communities.
Commissioner Roll thanks all private sponsors for the items. Meanwhile, he also donated additional items to the New Unity Fellowship International Ministry. Pastor Sharon Nain accepted on behalf of the ministry with a grateful heart, adding that it will go a long way during this time as many people in the community are in need.
In this season with the coronavirus, every little is a help. We take nothing for granted. Don't care how small it is. It means nothing to me, but to another child or another house, it's very important, especially the masks and the sanitizing and all the other stuff that we need to help prevent the spread of the virus. So every little is a help.
Gabrielle McBarry, a resident of the community, says that she lost her job during the pandemic and funds have been limited. However, she's grateful to God for the help. And as the 24-hour weekend lockdown kicks in tonight at 7 p.m., Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis in the House of Assembly earlier this week called on Bahamians, particularly those who have a greater presence on social media platforms, to encourage their followers to adhere to guidelines put in place to mitigate the spread of COVID-19.
Spread the message of unity. Create songs of unity, songs of encouragement, songs of remembering that there should be no gathering. And I say to the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs out there, this is your opportunity to do your part. Create t-shirts with slogans and messages. Let's fight COVID together. United against COVID. And every Friday, Mr. Speaker, I encourage all Bahamians throughout the length and breadth of our country to wear t-shirts with the slogan, anti-COVID, or let's fight COVID, let's declare Fridays anti-COVID T-shirt day.
Dr. Minnis says for the sake of families, frontline fighters, our economy, and our country, all should fight for the future by fighting COVID-19 together. Stay with us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.